Hello and welcome again. It's time for another book review. Today I am reviewing Amerika by Franz Kafka, or I believe they changed the title recently to The Man Who Disappeared. I think that was Kafka's original working title, but when it was originally published, I think it was like 1920s, 30s, something like that. The Kafka's friend who had found all of his manuscripts didn't know what the title was, and they just called it Amerika because Kafka referred to it as his American novel. And that's partly because the book is unfinished. There's a huge gap in between chapters 7 and 8, and there's a part where Kafka is working in the service of this giant singer woman who's named Brunelda. And then all of a sudden it just picks up and he's on his way to go to the Nature Theater of Oklahoma. And then that chapter has no resolution either. The last chapter has no resolution. So there's a big gap like in between those two chapters, and then the end has no resolution. Not any normal type of resolution, or even probably the resolution that Kafka had wanted. I think this book is amazing. There's so many great scenes in this book. The scene where he's working for the hotel, and then one of his older friends, I guess, I don't know if you would call them friends, but Robinson, one of his older acquaintances, comes by, and then he's completely blitzed out drunk, and then Kafka has to pay attention to his lift because he's lift boy, but he's got to find something to do with this drunk guy, because like if he gets caught with the drunk guy and then they find out the drunk guy knows him, he'll probably get fired. So he has it's this whole completely absurd situation, and he's always in these absurd situations. There was one thing about the book that I thought was really interesting was the end, because through most of the book it's pretty realistic. There are absurd situations, but there are situations that anybody could get into. And then at the end, it seems to go off in this more surrealistic, fantastical, settings and occurrences, which, excuse me, I mean, it's really interesting how it just switches completely. And I've got to think that there was something in between there that was really important that he was going to try and put in. It says in the last chapter that his last job was working in an office. Well, in the chapter before that, he's working with Brunelda, and there's no office, and he never worked in an office. So there had to have been a chapter where he's talking about working in an office, and for some reason, all of the people in the office call him Negro, and I don't really understand that at all. I don't really understand his reference about that. I mean, that's why I wish that chapter was in there. I mean, did he get that as a derogatory reference, as a derogatory nickname, or was it because like he was a poor worker? I don't know. I wish I kind of like would have known Kafka's take on that. I mean, it could have even been a compliment, but I don't know. And then one of the cool things about my copy of the book is that it has different sketches in there. And one of the best ones that I like is just this picture right in the beginning. And this was actually a drawing that was taken from his passport, from Kafka's passport, when he was a young man. And a lot of the drawings are really cool. I like the drawings, and they all go with the story. Here's a picture of our young hero Carl Rossman, who's just getting to America on the boat. And I think the only part of this book that was published in Kafka's life was the beginning. The first chapter was called The Stoker. It was really good, though. That's a really good story, even if you just read that story. But Kafka's always been one of my favorite writers, but still by far the best part of this book to me is the end. The whole scene with the Nature Theater of Oklahoma, where he walks out of the subway and there's these giant these women who are standing on these giant freaking pedestals, and they're all dressed as angels, and they have these huge horns and trumpets that they're blowing. It's really, really amazing. I mean, the way how he writes, though, too, because it's so descriptive, and even it being translated from German, I believe is what he originally wrote it in. Even being translated from that, I mean, it's really descriptive, and it's really interesting. I love this book. I'd recommend this book. This book's a lot lighter than Kafka's other writings. A lot of his other writings are pretty dark. Especially like The Trial and The Castle. Both of those are pretty dark. And this is a really more lighter novel, even though, through most of the novel, like, Carl just, goes from up here to down here to down here to down here, and he just keeps going down and down the chain of the world, of the social status, all the way down. But, I mean, it's a funny book. There's a lot of funny parts into the book. I mean, it's a little bit of a dry humor because the humor's like 100 years old already, probably. Excuse me. And, it's a good book, though. I totally recommend this book. If I had to give a rating system, I'd give it like 11 out of 10 stars. But I'm a Kafka nut. I love Kafka. I've read everything he's written. The book that I'm currently reading right now is, I'm picking up on the Night Watch series again. I'm reading Day Watch. I just got it, I think it was Thursday, and today's Monday, so that would have been 4 days ago. I got it 4 days ago. I'm already halfway through the book. This is where I'm at right now. This book's turning out to be really good, too. So I'll give a review of that next time, and I also picked up the third book in the series, so I'll read that after this one. Thanks for watching. Go read. Have a great day.